Welcome to this presentation on HTML performance optimization. We're going to explore techniques to significantly improve the loading and rendering speed of your web pages. Faster websites lead to better user experiences, improved search engine rankings, and increased conversion rates. Get ready to dive into the world of efficient HTML. Website performance is critically important for several reasons. First, 53% of users will abandon a site if it takes longer than 3 seconds to load. This highlights the need for speed. Next, every 100 millisecond delay in load time can decrease conversion rates by 7%. Speed directly impacts revenue. Search engines consider page speed when ranking results. Faster sites rank higher. Lastly, faster sites consume less battery on mobile devices. A faster website benefits users in numerous ways. There are 2 key areas to focus on when optimizing HTML performance. The first is to minimize the payload size. Techniques for minimizing payload size include compressing images and using modern formats like WebP and AVIF, minifying HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files, using gzip or Brotli compression, and removing any unused code and dependencies. The second key area is optimizing resource loading. This involves implementing proper resource hints such as preload and prefetch, deferring non-critical JavaScript with async and defer attributes, optimizing the critical rendering path, and implementing effective caching strategies. Resource hints help the browser prioritize and load resources more efficiently. The 2 primary resource hints that can be used are preload and prefetch. Preload tells the browser to download critical resources such as style sheets and images as soon as possible. For example, you can preload a critical CSS file using the link tag with the rel attribute set to preload and the as attribute set to style. Similarly, you can preload a hero image. Prefetch suggests resources that might be needed for future navigation, such as the HTML file for the next page a user is likely to visit. You can also use DNS prefetching for third-party domains to reduce latency when connecting to external resources. Asynchronous and deferred loading are 2 important strategies for optimizing JavaScript loading. Regular script loading blocks parsing of the HTML document until the script is downloaded and executed. With the async attribute, the script downloads in parallel and executes as soon as it is available, without blocking HTML parsing. With the defer attribute, the script also downloads in parallel, but it executes after the HTML document has been fully parsed. Use async for independent scripts like analytics or ads, and defer for scripts that need DOM access. For critical scripts, consider placing them inline at the bottom of the body tag. Optimizing images is crucial for improving website performance. Using modern image formats like WebP and AVIF can significantly reduce file sizes compared to JPEG and PNG. WebP images are typically around 30% smaller, while AVIF images can be 50% smaller. Use the picture element with source elements to provide multiple image formats, allowing the browser to choose the best option. Always specify the width and height attributes for images to prevent layout shifts as the image loads. Use lazy loading for images that are below the fold, so they are only loaded when the user scrolls near them. This can be done using the loading equals lazy attribute. Critical CSS is the CSS needed to render the above-the-fold content of a web page. By inlining this CSS directly into the head of the HTML document, you can eliminate render blocking CSS resources. This improves the first contentful paint metric, which is the time it takes for the first content element to become visible. Non-critical CSS can then be loaded asynchronously using the preload link element with onload event handler to switch the rel attribute to style sheet after the file has been downloaded. This technique is especially beneficial for mobile users. Core Web Vitals are a set of metrics that Google uses to evaluate the user experience of a web page. The 3 core Web Vitals are largest contentful paint, or LCP, first input delay, or FID, and cumulative layout shift, or CLS. LCP measures the time until the largest content element is visible and should be less than 2.5 seconds. FID measures the time from user interaction to browser response and should be less than 100 milliseconds. CLS measures visual stability during page load and should be less than 0.1. To prevent layout shifts, set explicit dimensions for media and reserve space for dynamic content. Use the fetch priority equals high attribute on LCP images to improve loading priority. Here is a checklist to help you optimize your HTML for performance. Make sure to use modern image formats with fallbacks, implement resource hints, load JavaScript with async or defer when appropriate, inline critical CSS and load non-critical CSS asynchronously, set explicit width and height on images and other media, implement lazy loading for below-the-fold content, optimize core web vitals, and implement effective caching strategies. Here are some useful testing tools and resources including Lighthouse, PageSpeed Insights, Web Page Test, and Chrome Dev Tools. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.